How's it, everyone? Welcome back. This is the Mac Coast to Coast Show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you know when we go live. Here's your host, Brian McLamara.
Welcome to the Mac Coast to Coast Show. I bet you're wondering why I pulled you over. Well, let me tell you, I'm fond of blondes and redheads. But seriously, I'm here with my boys. Razzle.
Hope you ain't creeping up on my bonfire. Last time it didn't turn out too good. Ended up with a big 6-foot hole, a shovel, and a bag of lime.
And T-Mac.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thanks for all the support lately. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the show.
We got a fantastic show this evening for you. We got a special guest. His name is Ron Bush. But before we talk about Ron and get into the deal, let's go ahead and go right to our sponsors. Brotherhood 808, where your friends are your chosen family. And are you ready to brand your business so you can keep the lights on? Then you better put your peepee in a wall socket and let the guys from Brand Ready Media pull it out. And Ancestry.com. When your eyes are that far apart, there has to be a reason.
Yeah!
So, hey guys, it's another
What's
day.
up?
What's going on?
It's another day, brother. Glad
Hey,
to be alive. How about you?
I'm fucking awesome at being alive. I'm loving it. I got to tell you, I learned a little new life hack today. You guys want to hear about it?
Sure. What's up?
So I was brushing my teeth, and I'm really fond of the Sonicare toothbrush, and it broke. So you know, I didn't have the money to go buy a new one, so I got a regular toothbrush and I duct taped it to a vibrator, and it works amazing. It's also not bad for cleaning your teeth.
Oh, wow. Wow. Sounds like a great idea.
Later, though.
Oh,
Hey,
That's not
Yeah.
bad, right?
that's pretty good. I like
I
it.
like
I like it a
So
lot.
what's going on, man? It's almost what's the weather like where you guys are at?
Beautiful, brother. You know, Hawaii's been consistently 78 degrees, trade winds, waves are firing. You know,
Yeah.
can't complain, man. How about you, Raz? Cooled down in Florida, hadn't it?
No, we're sitting here in the mid 70s, high 70s.
Oh, nice.
Supposed to be a
Perfect.
little cold front coming through in the next couple of days, but it's beautiful right now. It's awesome.
All right.
Yeah. It's getting cold over here, man. It's wicked cold. I just got the cars in the garage, and I'm getting ready for a snowstorm. It's going to snow tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Right on. Hey, so you got a new car, Brian, now, and let's talk about your new rig, bro. I heard you got a nice convertible, and
Yeah.
it must be nice when it's like 20 degrees. Are your ears frozen off yet?
No, I got to tell you something, man. I drove that car. So for the listeners, I got a 2019 Fiat 124 Spider, the Abarth version, and
Thing's badass looking.
yeah, it's awesome. I drove it around all weekend, and the weather was awesome, and I had the top down the whole time, and I kept I kept making excuses to go to the store. I was like hanging bikes in the garage, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go up and get some screws. Drive up and get some screws, and I'm gone for like an hour because I like go to the store, get the screws, and then drive around, and then drive back, and then I'm like working on a little bit. I need a new hammer. Gotta go back out, get a hammer, drive around, come back.
Burning up
awesome,
a tank
man.
of gas a day.
Yeah, man. I literally this weekend I drove 300 miles.
Nice.
Yeah,
Get her done.
Sweet. How's the gas mileage on it?
it's really good, dude. It's like high 30s.
Oh, that's
Man.
cool. And what
Yeah.
size engine does that thing have in it?
It's a 1.4 turbo, and you know, just to give you some reference, like most Mustangs, those cars, they're like 5 liter. So this is like a 1.4 liter. Most
But it's so
Honda
light.
Civics, yeah, it's wicked light.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So when you're doing the paddle shifters and shit, when you go from first to second and third, does it do the psst, psst, the turbo sound or what?
No, it's actually not that bad. It's not that huge of a turbo. So It's actually pretty linear, the power on it. I mean, it's awesome, dude. It's fun to drive. I was chasing Corvettes, dude. I was like, oh, there's a Corvette. Let's go find him. Let's go chase him.
Did
Were
you
you
cruise
pulling
in
up
front
to
of the high school?
Yeah. Which one?
Girl.
Hey,
Girls.
Hey, it is.
Have you
Yeah.
seen my convertible? I'm B-Max.
But it's like, COVID, so all the high schools are closed now.
Oh yeah. Forgot about
You had
that.
a mask on anyway. They couldn't even see what you look like.
I know. They don't know how old you are. That's another thing. You can buy alcohol at the store and nobody makes you take down your mask.
No,
Right.
I always used to dress up like a grandma when I was younger. That way nobody questioned me.
I wouldn't question you now.
Yeah, the mustache kind of threw him off a little bit, but hey, they thought I was Aunt Bunny's sister.
Did you ever think you'd see the day when you could just walk right into a bank with your mask on and everything? They're happy that you got it on. They don't even worry about you. They're like, "Hey, what's up, Mr. McLemore? How you doing?" I was like, "You're not gonna ask me to remove my mask?" They're like, "Nope." They're behind the plexiglass, hiding out, scared as
Yeah.
hell.
They're like, hey, do you ever think you see the day where you could leave the bar with a gallon of drinks?
That's a trip.
Oh, can I get a gallon to go? Oh yeah, but we can't give you a straw. That way you won't drink on the way home. Okay.
They really give you a gallon? What's the deal with that?
Well, it's COVID, dude. They're trying to make some money, catching up.
No shit.
Okay, so they'll sell you a gallon of alcohol to drive home with.
Yeah, but no straw.
And it's probably what, triple the price if you went down to like the Circle K or something?
Get home.
So
The
it's like
Circle-
triple the price of a Circle K bottle, or you know what I mean? Like,
I've never really bought a gallon. I was exaggerating a little bit, but
oh,
32
okay.
ouncer, I believe that I got one time.
Oh.
Sure. Would you like a double?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Why
if
not?
I send my son in 20 minutes, can you give one to him too?
Oh, I didn't even know you had kids, Brian.
No, I don't. But I'm just saying.
Just some random kid.
Just some random kid. You're like, do it.
Hey, kid, buy me some beer. He's like,
Me
you're
and-
supposed to be buying me beer, old man.
Me and my dad got a bunch of coupons for Burger King, and we go up to the Burger King to get breakfast. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in first, and then you come in after me. Like, he's like, no, we'll just go give them all at the same time. I'm like, no, man, they're not going to do that. I wouldn't do that.
It's only one per customer,
It's
man.
only one per customer. Yeah, I want 8 of these. Because they all give them to you in a big sheet, like a
You get
contact
2
sheet.
for $5. The veggie burger.
And nowadays, you don't even go up and talk to anybody. They're gonna just obsolete. The people that work there are just done. They're back there cooking. You just
Thank
go to
you.
a
Coming
keypad.
from Burger King.
Yeah.
Can I take your order?
They're slowly training us just to, use the machine and order your shit, and they're getting rid of jobs. You know how they do.
I think the big dream is like rolling up to a place and you just hit a big red button, and then there's a chute there, and you just hear this audible like, and then like the food comes flying out to the chute, and you grab it and go, and the big speaker
Yeah.
goes next.
Yeah. It just throws it out the back door, so you don't have to interact with anybody. You just slide by in your car and just. Get
I
a
was
big
thinking
back
about
of
quitting
bird.
my job actually and going to work at McDonald's because I figure I'd rather flip burgers than flip humans.
Yeah.
$15 an hour, shit.
I
I'll
don't
flip
know.
a
I
burger.
could flip some humans.
Well, not the ones I deal with.
Depending on how much they weigh.
Or
Yeah,
how- yeah.
I like the
that's true.
400 pounders the best.
Oh man.
700-pound lady was awesome.
Oh, that must have been fun. How many dudes it take to flip her over?
Well, me and this other dude went in there one time and turned her on her side. They had to clean her or whatever. And she had used number 2. Not to
Oh.
get too rude on the show, but it came out, it looked like a little football, dude. I was expecting it to be all in every crack, and it was just like a little tiny little football. Like it came out like a little Easter egg.
Sounds
Good
fun.
stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like you probably should go down there and apply at McDonald's.
Would you like a
Wow.
chocolate football?
Did you pick it up and throw it? Tom Brady style.
Did you go? Go long, man.
I always tell them at work, I get the back, you guys get the crack. I try to stay away from the rear end area.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time, man.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to hear another story. What else you got in there?
What else you got in there? Don't say that. They'll damn sure show you.
Oh man. Yeah, you know the stories you tell me, Raz, of you at work, man. You got them Baker Act dudes yell at themselves all day, man, and I really give you credit, man. That's a tough job.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing the podcast, trying to get out of this business.
Oh man, tell us about what was that one dude's name? You sent me a couple videos. He's yelling at himself. Tell me what, I forget what he was saying, but it was pretty classic. I think he was speaking Spanish, preaching to God or something. It was pretty hilarious, but
There ain't no
There's-
telling.
there's so many of them, huh?
Yeah. There's just one. Usually like one a night.
You should do like a whole series on that. Like they have Tales of the Gun, except it's just Tales of the Pillow. Just a ratty pillow that's there at the hospital and different people are on it. But they're not interesting stories. They're just like really horrible stories. Like one guy, he just reads a lot. The whole episode is just about him reading and then bugging the nurse for more. What's the best meal? What's the best meal they got over there? What's the best thing? What do people hanker for down there?
Man, those damn TV dinners, boy. They love them things.
Ooh,
You got the
boy.
meatloaf with the side of mashed taters, or you can have the sliced chicken breast with the baked apples.
Damn.
The
Uh-huh.
fake
Only the
apples?
best. Only the best for our patients.
Only
Nothing
the
a little
best.
ketchup won't help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, squeeze a little ketchup on there. Depends on if they're on a heart healthy diet, you know.
Yeah. No matter how dry that chicken is, put a little ketchup on there, you be all right.
Yeah, just water a little ketchup on it and mustard.
Mustard with them taters.
Got some mustard with them taters. And
I'd like to have some Cholula. Y'all got no Cholula around here? Put a little
but-
Cholula on that thing.
you go down to Taco Bell and get your chalupa. I don't know what a Cholula is.
Well, you ought to. Cholula. Cholula's a younger sister of Chalupa. And I'll tell you what, she is hotter than two rats, if you know what I'm saying.
Screwing in the wool sock?
That's right. I'll
Oh,
tell you
hell.
what.
I thought that was only down here.
We got an amazing guest this week. Special treat. I pulled him over and have him in the can back here, ready to pull out. He's an actor, been on a lot of things that probably all of you have seen. He's been on Stranger Things, Bloodline, St. Vincent. Known him for a long time. Let's welcome to the show, Ron Bush.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right,
brother.
brother.
Ron, it's good to have you on the show, man. It's been a long time since I seen you last. You look a little more snowy than the last time I saw you.
Yeah, what, 9, 10 years will do that to you? Yeah.
Play for Mr. Gray.
Has it been 10 years? The last time I was with Ron, I filmed him actually in a mock. It was a commercial for like a fire chiefs thing, and they had it's like the old Mac commercials where you had like the PC and the Mac, except you have a new fire chief and an old fire chief, and Ron played
Yep.
the young fire chief.
Yeah, that was about 10 years ago, 2009-ish, 10-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies.
And that's
It
how you
should have.
guys met up? That's how you met?
Actually, I think we met even before that. We were Ice Shoes,
Yeah.
right? We did when Canon came out with their new DSLR cameras, and everybody was doing this Canon contest for filming using the new 5D Mark III or whatever, the new Canons. we did a little film contest where they had to. I don't remember the particulars of the contest, but we were doing a continuation of a story. Everybody was continuing a story from the last story. So someone filmed something and they chose a winner, and then everybody had to compete and make the next part of that story. And Ron played one of the bad guys in a warehouse, right?
Yep.
Oh, so it was
Yeah,
like
it's-
a video ad lib kind of thing?
No, it was scripted.
It was scripted, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was kind of like the 48-hour film festival, where they had like a prop that you had to use, and you had to obviously use a Canon, and then start off where the last little bit ended, and then continue that on. And I think there was something specific that had to be at the end so that the next story could be done.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
cool.
it was just like a random story different people added on to.
Pretty much, I think so.
That's cool.
Again, that was a long time ago.
So we'll start out by asking you this, Ron. Like, how did you start getting into acting, and what'd you do? How did you go about getting into it, and just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, actually, when I win my first Oscar, I'm going to have to say thank you to my buddy Chris Prosick, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be an actor today, because he was a Reese Witherspoon freak. Like, he would have stalked her if we lived in LA. And he found out that they were shooting Sweet Home Alabama in Georgia, and they were doing an open call for background at our college, and we showed up and we got picked, and we were on set for 4 days. And I mean, just being able to see that, the organized chaos of everyone working together, moving lights, moving wires, and even the cast was great. I got to meet Patrick Dempsey and Josh Lucas, and even Candice Bergen. I mean, they were fantastic, taking pictures and talking to everybody. And I was just like, God, I want to do this now. Forget college. But
Right.
no, but I still stuck with it. I did some background with Tyler Perry and a bunch of his Medea movies, and graduated, did the whole business thing, working in IT, and then finally I get to thank the Smithsonian for the worst job that I've ever had in my entire life.
Ooh.
It was
Tour guide?
No, I worked in the finance department, and it was
Ah.
right when the bubble burst on, I believe it was the real estate market.
2008.
08, yeah.
Yes. And our endowment lost, 40% of its value. So everyone had to cut their budgets by 40%, and they were screaming and yelling at us. And my boss was miserable. I was miserable. And so I got back into acting on the weekends, and then finally was like, I can't do this job anymore. This sucks. I hate going to work, and I hate coming home from work. So I decided to chuck it all and leave the cushy government job and become an actor, because that is the most stable career that anyone could ever choose.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a few actors, and they have side jobs. So, it seems like a tough gig to get into.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's like I've had multiple teachers tell me that if you can imagine yourself doing anything else and being happy doing it, then you shouldn't be an actor. Because, I mean, it is just, think about getting fired once a week and having to interview for a new job, actually 10 new jobs, 20 new jobs, and then you get it, and then you get fired again, and then you got to start interviewing again. It's miserable. I don't know why anyone does it, but I'll tell you something, man. Being on set is just, I don't know, when I walk on set and I just see everything, and I'm just like, I honestly couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you must get, like, before you're going on, the butterflies and the feeling you get, that high you get from going on live must be really cool. I can only imagine the night before and how nervous you get before a set, or must be pretty crazy.
I'll tell you something, it's interesting. Like, yes, it's very nerve-wracking. One example, when I actually booked, no, wasn't Bloodline. Too Close to Home. I actually worked on 3 different episodes for that, and I was in my doctor's office, and my agent calls me at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like, can you be on set by 3 o'clock, because their actor dropped out and you were their second choice. I was like, yes, I will. So I'm sitting there in my doctor's office, and he, eventually, like, takes my blood pressure, and he's like, what is going on? Like, you need to calm down. Like, your blood pressure is through the roof. I'm like, I just found out I got to be on set in like 6 hours. And I have no idea what I'm saying or what I'm doing. So I'm just like, that's why my blood pressure is high. It's like, okay, well, calm down a little bit. And,
Yeah, right.
yeah, no. And then you get on set and it's just like, I don't know. It's like a switch flips. And to be honest, I hate saying this because my acting teacher would hate if I said this. I black out when I'm on set. You know, like when they say action, I'm just kind of so focused on what I'm doing. I don't see the camera. I don't see the crew. You know, and then they say cut. I'm just like, did I just say some lines? Okay. Was it good? It was good. All right.
It was good. I did all right.
That's the same. I have the same thing, but that's when I'm just sleeping with my girlfriend.
And you always don't want to hear.
Just kidding, honey.
Yeah, he's all right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Brian and I both wanted to be actors when we were younger, which is weird because we never grew up around each other, but we both had that bug. You know, I used to imitate Jim Carrey all the time, and
And mom
do
thought
the
you
fire
were...
marshal all the time. My mom's like, "You need to stop doing that. Your face is gonna be stuck like that." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And then he started making millions. She's like, "You should have stuck to it." I'm like, "Okay, mom, whatever."
Yep.
Yeah. But, you know,
Anyways, it's, you know, I was telling them before, like, you know, along the lines of what you said as far as the acting goes and choosing that path. You know, I kind of did the same thing sort of with the video production on the other side of the camera. And I used to work regular jobs. And I was like, I'm done. I would rather live in a van down by the river and do what I want to do what I love than anything else one more day. And I just jumped out, no safety net, no nothing. And, you know, here I am. I'm still alive. I still eat. You know, this is how I eat. This is what I do. And, you know, it takes a lot of bravery, man, but, and it gets hard sometimes. You're like, I just want to get a regular paycheck, but you got to keep grinding, dude. You got to keep grinding and just going for it. I really applaud you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do
thank
too. And I was wondering, like, so for example, like when you're going for these shows and you're trying to apply for it, how does that work? Like, you go online, or like, what do you do to land these acting jobs?
Well, that'll depend on if you're union or not. I am in the union, so I would say 95% of the work that I could do has to go through an agent, just because, you know, it's a TV show like NBC isn't going to audition somebody who hasn't even had one job as an actor. So they want to make sure that the person has been vetted, you know, so an agent isn't going to take you on as a client unless they think that they can make money off of you. So the network is like, all right, well, if you trust this actor to audition, then bring him in for an audition. We'll audition him. And I'm one of 40 people auditioning for the same exact role. And everyone pretty much looks the same. And everyone has pretty much been doing it as long as you have. And then you don't ever get a phone call if you didn't get the job, which I think is the worst part. Because, you know, when you audition, the job's not shooting for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you know, and like what happened with me, they could call you the day of the shoot and be like, hey, you booked it, get on set. You know, and then that's great. But then 4 weeks go by and like, God, am I still being considered or not? But yeah, so with me, it's mainly through my agent and manager. On the non-union side, I mean, there's casting sites like Actors Access, Backstage, student films. You can actually go straight through the colleges and, you know, audition for their student films. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Actors Access, you know, for anyone, no matter where you are, you know, because, you know, everything is shooting nationwide, because it used to be New York and LA. That was it.
All right.
You know, now Atlanta, of all places, is number 3, you know, and they actually get more movies than New York, while New York gets more TV than Atlanta. You know, so even in Chicago or Ohio, you know, if you want to get into acting, there's probably something on Actors Access, whether it be a short, a feature, a student film. So yeah, then you just submit your headshot and photo and keep those fingers crossed that somebody picks you. And they say, we like you, come and audition for us.
Well, speaking of different locations, I mean, I know that that show that Bloodline you were on was filmed down in the Keys, correct? Or somewhere right down there in Florida?
Yes. Well, the main studio was in Miami.
Oh, okay,
And-
yeah, and I heard. I mean, I was a big fan of that show. My girlfriend turned me on to it, but um, I was just wondering. Like I heard, and I don't know if this is a rumor, but Florida had this great tax break for movie studios and everything, and they got rid of that, and then for some reason they didn't come back to finish that show. But I was just kind of wondering if you had any inside info on that.
Yeah, no, it happened in North Carolina too, because North Carolina was a pretty big hub for productions, especially TV. And yeah, no, Florida, especially the people in the government came up with a study that said we're losing money by giving these studios incentives to film in our area. And I mean, that's just not true. I mean, obviously any study says one thing, you can do a study that's going to tell you another thing. But I mean, when a production is given, say, a 30% discount, so if their budget is $100,000 and the state gives them 30% back, then it really only costs them $70,000 to produce the film or the TV show. And those crew and the cast are getting hotel rooms and going to bars and restaurants and shopping at the local stores and the Targets, so that kind of money that goes into the economy is estimated and not taken into effect. Like Georgia realized that. Like a lot of states that do have these incentives, even here in California, they have a small incentive. I think it goes up to like $400 million. And once they run out of money, that's it. But in Georgia, it's unlimited. So if they have $10 billion worth of productions that come in, all 10 billion of those productions is going to get 30% back. And, now you've got these huge studios, like Tyler Perry built a huge studio at an army base. And I can't think of the name right now, but the big studio that's in London and Ireland that films all the Marvel movies. It'll come to me in a minute. But they have Pinewood Studios. They had a huge studio in Atlanta that they recently sold. But I mean, it had something like 30 sound stages, and if it was a Marvel movie filming in Atlanta, it filmed at that studio. And a lot of the Marvel movies filmed in Atlanta because, if they're spending $200 million on a movie, well, it's actually only going to cost them $140 million if they film it in Atlanta. So that was a huge incentive, and that's why Atlanta got so big, because the right people in the government kept that money there and were just like, come to us and stay in our hotels and go to our restaurants and spend your money here. And
Right.
they have, and they do.
Well, that's funny. You said like you live in Cali. Is that what you said?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Now,
What part of Cali are you in?
I am currently in North Hollywood.
Okay, so you could kind of give us an idea. I heard some crazy things about Cali with this COVID thing, and I'm sure it affected your career in acting, with the COVID, and I kind of wanted to hear about like what it's like in Cali right now, living there, and 'cause
It's
I'm in Hawaii, Raz is in Florida, and Brian's in DC. So, how's Cali?
It's interesting because it's county by county. Like Orange County doesn't care. Like nobody wears masks, and the businesses, are staying open and doing over the 25% capacity that the governor has said you're allowed to do. But then, like LA County, where I live, if it's not a grocery store or takeout food, it's not open. There are
Right.
some. I think they do allow 20% capacity in retail stores, but I mean, pretty much everything is shut down. No indoor dining, no outdoor dining. It's just to go. And I mean, it's also because we are having the highest number of positive cases every day in the country.
Right.
Every day we're breaking records. Every day I read the news is like, now we have the highest number again. Now we have the highest number again, and it keeps going up and up and up. And honestly, I don't think anyone really knows how to stop it.
Right.
But yeah, no,
What?
California, like I haven't worked since March because my restaurant was shut down, and we didn't have indoor or outdoor dining. And then our outdoor dining is really small, so they only brought a few people back. So then they closed down that again, and now we're back to where we were in March.
Wonderful.
Right.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I'm in the hotel industry in Hawaii, man. I've been doing it for 25, 30 years, and I've never seen anything like it. I worked in it during 9/11, and that was bad, but this is on a whole new level. This is just, and I'm wondering when it might go back to normal again, but I heard that California was really really strapped down. Hawaii's pretty strapped down too, but just wanted
Yeah, I mean, like even the entertainment industry, like they shut down production for a while, but then they brought it back, and SAG came up with their safe at work. I forget what it was called, but their rules for how sets could reopen safely. And I was on the Warner Brothers studio lot 2 weeks ago, and I was working as a stand-in on All Rise. And I mean, what they have to do is just ridiculous. Like everyone is tested every single day with a rapid test, and they literally there's one guy that walks around with a tape measure. It's like, all right, you're 6 feet apart, you're good. You're 5.5 feet. Move 6 inches that.
Wow.
Okay, good. Now you're 6 feet. If you
I
have
know,
your
are we
mask
gonna
up
live with
for a
that
sec-
forever? I mean, crazy.
No, I mean, honestly, I think it's going to be all of 2021. Just because they have to be safe. There's so much money involved, especially with the named actors that are the heads of these projects. And I'm sure for insurance purposes, until like there's a huge decrease in the number of positive cases, they're going to have to keep all the COVID stuff in place, just because who knows what's going to happen with the vaccine. I mean, knock on wood, it works, and everything can kind of go back to normal by mid next year. But then they have to be careful about it, because like even when I was working, I don't remember if it was our set or the set next door, somebody had tested positive with the rapid test, and they shut down immediately. They were like, all right, go off to the separate section, everyone stay apart, we got to investigate this, see who he talked to, did he go to Crafty, did he go to the bathroom, and half the day they spent tracking where all this went, and then they were finally like, okay, we're good to shoot, but your scene was in the morning, so we're going to reschedule that because we have to keep going.
Do they pay you the whole time you're waiting around while they do that, and then they bring you back the next day to shoot
Yep.
your scene? So that's
'cause-
kind of cool, right?
I mean, yeah, it kind of is. I mean, it depends on if you had something else to do that other day that they reschedule. Because I mean, that's how I wound up getting the job for Too Close to Home. Was that they originally tried to shoot one day, they couldn't, so they rescheduled it for the next day. But the actor they chose had to drop out because he was already booked on something else. So if that kind of conflict comes into play, I mean, it's probably not a big issue for crew because they're scheduled to work the entire week or whatever. But for the actors, especially, if you're booked as a co-star on All Rise on Tuesday and then a co-star on NCIS on Wednesday, and they don't get to your scene on Tuesday on All Rise and they have to do it on Wednesday, it's like, well, am I going to work on NCIS or am I going to work on All Rise? Because there wasn't a conflict, but now there is a conflict.
Show me the money.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'll tell you that happens in my business too, and it really hurts when you make a commitment on a day, like on the 19th, you're going to do some gig for somebody, like as a friend, or you're going to help somebody out and on somebody else's company out. You're just going to be a PA or a camera guy, and I'm going to make like $300 for a whole day, versus I could have gotten $1,800 on that same day. Right? So I'm like, I can't do it. And then the guy who you were supposed to do it on the 19th for $300, he cancels. So then you don't get anything. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about being in the union is that, like, even if I was under contract to work on Friday and they had to reschedule or they cut my scene or whatever, if I was already under contract, I'm going to get paid regardless, because there was a deal memo in place, it was signed, all the right people said you're going to work on Friday, and then if they say, yeah, well, because of COVID, we had to cut your scene or move, I mean, luckily I still get paid. But for some other projects, if they have to cancel the shoot or cut down the shoot, because of where they're shooting or whatever, people, could lose money because through no fault of their own.
And it must be also hard to be an actor in the respect that, like you were saying, you're union. And a lot of people, now they're shooting everywhere, they don't want to deal with union actors because it costs like 3 times as much, because it might be a small little production. Like as a union actor, you have a set rate, right, that you have to get?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the project, even for feature films, if it's a lower budget movie, if it's like a big budget Hollywood movie, I think the rate is somewhere around $1,000 a day. But if it's like a $100,000 budget ultra low budget movie, it's $125 a day. So they do
Wow.
scale it down some depending on how big the budget is.
Wow.
And same thing with shorts. You know, if it's a short film, I think it's $125 a day as well. And then even student films can be shot with deferred pay, you know, because they have a contract for that. So if the student film somehow makes money, then the actor gets paid. But otherwise, they can hire actors for free because they are deferring the pay. So,
You know, that's a really good thing to educate people on, because like for like a TV commercial, sometimes so I'll give you an example. So let's say I want to go to Paul's Pizzeria. It's a local pizzeria, and we want to make them a little infomercial for the web or whatever. Well, it's like Paul's only going to pay like $2,800, right? So we need to get actors. And in the past, it's been my experience, when you get a SAG actor, we got for the day, it's going to cost us $1,000. And I'm not saying
think-
there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying.
Well,
you
I'm
know,
thinking about on the new media side, because that's what that would be. If it's going to be an ad for like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or something like that, it's not going to air on a TV channel. There's a separate new media contract for those types of commercials. It's still expensive. Yeah, I think it is still $1,000 a day for the actor, but it's not quite as expensive as if it was like a car commercial going on CBS. You know, that could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whereas you probably could get away with a Instagram commercial for a small business. I mean, it's still going to cost a lot, probably 10 grand or so, but not quite as expensive as a TV commercial.
I mean, I do think that it's worth it. You know, I will say this just publicly, you know, I've dealt with a lot of non-actors and I've dealt with actual actors, and it's always worth it to hire actors in your productions, because it just, everything is better. It's the same difference between, you know, would you buy a cheap pair of shoes that are going to last you 2 months, or a pair of shoes that are going to last 2 years? It's just night and day difference.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the type of commercial, you know, because like a lot of commercials now are using voiceover, you know, so it's a car commercial and you've got the dealer and the couple that are walking towards the car, smiling and laughing and pointing, but they're not saying anything, you know, so it's a lot easier to get away with that kind of commercial, to where as long as somebody can point and smile and walk without falling over, that's good enough. But for some of the larger commercials, especially if they want to use like a celebrity to be the main person, then yeah, they're going to have to be union, and you're going to have to hire union background, union stand-ins, and you know, any other smaller roles are going to have to be union. But yeah, now if you're a car company that's worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, you know, it's trying to skimp on a commercial just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But you know, it's everyone's got their budget, so.
Do you
But
have
what
an
if you wanna-
example? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but what if you want your dogs and your kids, and you want to put a Batman cowl on in your commercial?
Yeah, that's a whole different story. I mean, I don't know how you might be able to get away with that as long as nobody's important sees it on the non-union side. But yeah, for union, then you're talking licensing, and I think they even have agents for animals. You know, if you need a cat to stop somewhere or a dog to, you know, run at you but then stop right before the camera, you know, I think they might even be part of the union. I have no idea. That would be weird if they did, but yeah, you know, I mean, the same thing with non-union. You know, if you're doing a non-union commercial and you need a cat to do a specific thing, you know, and you just say, hey, you have a cat, right? It can walk to the bowl of food and eat it. Yeah, sure, let's do that. You know, but in the meantime, it might go off over here, and hey, there's a light over there. Let me bat that around. You know, whereas on a union commercial, you know, they're probably trained, you know, and that person trained that cat to go from point A to point B without caring about anything in between.
Right. I wanted to ask you a question about like through your acting career and everything, like one example or one day that you had something crazy or funny happen during the set, or any kind of crazy stuff that happened during a shoot. Do you have any examples or?
I mean, the only thing that happened that was really weird was I worked on this independent movie that, and honestly, I don't even remember if it was under a union contract. I don't think it was, but there was the guy who played the Haitian from Heroes. Remember that show?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
So
Yeah.
the guy who played Haitians was one of the main characters. There's a movie called Feet of Destiny, and it was about some Nigerian soccer player who was kind of like the Nigerian Pele, like found living in the slums and playing on the side of the field. And it turned out that he was an amazing soccer player, and then he turned out to be an asshole, but then he hurt his leg and he redeemed himself. But that movie, the director did not want to be a director. Like, the director literally just wanted to sit there on his phone and say, I'm the director.
No,
So
okay.
you had the soccer coordinator who was handling all the soccer stuff. He decided that he was going to step in and be the director. But then the DP was like, no. Yeah, the soccer's important, but, we got to get these shots or something. I'm going to run. It just turned into like a fighting match between the two of them. And, they had to shut down production. And, I don't work on the production side. I'm an actor, but I've worked on enough productions that you kind of can understand the flow of things. And the way they were shooting, like they were shooting on one side of the field, then moving to the other side, then moving back to the other side for another shot. And it's like, why didn't you just shoot everything on this side and then move over here? Because now we're spending 4 times as much time moving everything around. And then on top of that, they were having trouble paying people, and people had to like do lawsuits to get money from the company, and they were paying out of like personal accounts instead of like the film account. And that was just a mess from the get-go. And I think eventually after a week of shooting, they shut down production, and I don't think that project ever got picked up again.
Yeah.
That's why
Brutal.
we got Brian making the big money.
That's right.
And,
I just
we're non-union, so Tim and I only get 5,000 an episode. So Brian's pretty much keeping all the profits.
Yeah. We're
That's
letting
right.
him just, he's just putting it all away for later.
I got a jar in the back, a jar of peanuts and teeth.
Oh, sure.
I'll let you know
right
which
thing
is
to do.
more valuable in 10 years.
Jingle. That the
Ron,
teeth
what is-
or the change?
What is the best experience that you've had working on a film? What is the coolest thing you're like, I can't believe I'm doing this?
Actually, I have 2 of them. The first one is the first union project that I worked on. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I honestly don't know how I booked that job because I was non-union at the time, and so I had to get what's called a Taft-Hartley, which is a waiver in order for them to hire a non-union actor. And it's not like I don't think I was the best person for the job. I'm just going to be honest with you, because it was as a roulette dealer, and they actually had people in the audition room who were actual roulette dealers down in Atlantic City, and they showed up in uniform, and they didn't have a roulette board in order for you to do the audition. It was like, oh, just pretend there's a board there and run the board. I'm like, okay, great, whatever. Did it, left, got the job, got onto set, and I'm in the elevator with Glenn Howerton and Charlie Day, because they were the only 2 in the scene, and they're wearing sunglasses, they got coffee, and they go over, they introduce themselves, and they're like, oh, man, we were drinking till like 4 o'clock in the morning last night, so we're just gonna riff, throw your lines in whenever you want, and it's gonna be great. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, this is my first union job, and I've got these 2 big actors in front of me, and I had my lines down, I had my cues down of when I was doing everything, and then they're just like, oh, we're just gonna wing it. And
You'll
sure
be
enough,
fine, buddy.
the first take, they're doing their thing, and then the director yells cut, and then he's like, all right, so jump in with your line. I'm like, oh, like, I didn't hear my cues. Like, no, just interrupt them, just yell Black Wings. I'm like, okay. And then we did it again, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the background on that shoot pissed me off so much, because the board was supposed to be played twice, and if you know how roulette goes, you place your bets, then you spin the thing, then it lands, then you have to clear the bets, and then people bet again. And these background were having a grand old time, putting these huge stacks of chips everywhere, and I'm just like, guys, I got to clear this board and then run it again, because like they're supposed to win twice, and I've got this huge pile of chips that are like all in disarray, and I was all scared about it. And the director's like, oh, don't worry about it. We can't even see the board. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that 4 takes ago? Like crap in my pants. I'm like, I got to clear this. No, I got to set the board up again. No. And then afterwards, it was just like, it's over. Like, how did again? I was just like, how did that just go so fast when it was actually like 4 hours? But so that was the first one, and then the second one was when I got to work with Bill Murray in St. Vincent. I was actually doing background at the time just because I had nothing else to do. I was bored, and I was like, oh yeah, Bill Murray movie, let's do some background. And they actually upgraded one of the other background. I was a baby store employee. There was this other girl who was also a baby store employee. So they chose her. They're like, all right, you're going to do some improv with Bill, this, blah, blah, blah. And then the director shows up, and he's like, all right, where's my baby store employee? And they're like, oh, here she is. And she starts talking, and he's like, what is this? Like, we have a white blonde Russian girl. And Naomi is a white blonde Russian girl in the scene. You can't have two white blonde Russian girls. Get somebody else. And I was the only other baby store employee there. They're like, all right, you're in. And I'm just like, what?
All right, I'll do it.
I thought I was going to be in the background, like it this little dot. And now they're just
all of a sudden now you're like one of the stars. You're with, and plus you're with like some of the main actors, so you're nervous,
And it's all improv. They were just like, oh yeah, he's going to do this. She's going to do this. Just say this, say something like this. He'll say something like this. And I'm just like, okay. And
I love Bill Murray. How was he? Did you get to talk to him at all?
Yeah, God, he's got the driest sense of humor in the world because we had camera problems for like the first 7 takes. So we had to keep doing it over and over and over again. And then finally, Bill was just like, can we get our fucking shit together and do this? So everyone like just doing their thing. And I'm just like, oh, what's good? Okay. And then shoot the thing. And then at the end, he was like, all right, great job. I was just like, I asked one of the PAs, I'm like, is he mad? Or like, he's like, oh no, he's like that every day. Like he just yells out shit and nobody really cares. I'm like, okay.
When he was in Kingpin, man, and Caddyshack, those are two of my favorites, man.
So you must have been starstruck and stoked just to be hanging out with him,
Yeah, again, I think the fact that I was upgraded and like I didn't audition and I wasn't planning on working with Bill Murray that day was just kind of like, that helped because I had no time to worry about it. They were like, all right, get in here, do this, and we're going to shoot. I'm like, okay.
All right, let's do it.
That's
cool, like us on this show. Start. We're just like, let's do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, holy shit, I was just in a movie with Bill Murray.
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome. Can we see that? What is that on again? What was that?
Yeah, a movie called St. Vincent. Actually, it was a quasi-independent movie. It had a lower budget of only $40 million. But yeah, it was
St. Vincent. Okay.
Only 40 million.
Yeah, there it is.
I got hold on.
It should be the first scene.
Yeah, the first one?
Yeah. Well, of course. I'm in a scene with Bill Murray. That's going to be the first scene on my demo reel.
Yeah, there you are right there.
Oh, okay.
There's old Bill.
There's Ron. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah,
that scene.
Cool. Yep.
That's
wow.
Pretty cool, dude.
Well,
so what's
Ron,
the next?
I got a question for you.
All right.
I noticed you do a lot of serious roles, like here you're a TV reporter, and you were a bank employee on Bloodline and all that. If somebody offered you a job as a surfer hippie dude, would you take it?
Yes, absolutely. Is it paying? Then yes.
Give us a little surfer, LA surfer dude, Venice Beach.
Are you kidding me? Like for sure. I would absolutely, brah. I mean, you're talking about clams coming into my pocket? Yeah. I mean, I could hit the waves tomorrow, and that'd be like sweet,
Right on. Ron's like, I'll do it, buddy, no problem.
Frosty,
money,
dude.
baby.
How much?
Toasty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
how much you paying?
No, you're right. Like the buttoned up, wearing a suit and tie, and that's the ironic thing. I hate wearing a suit and tie with every fiber of my being. And those are the roles that I get: cop, doctor, lawyer, bank manager, wearing the suit and tie.
Bad guy.
Speaking of cop, look at Brian tonight.
That's right. I got my.
Decked out in his security outfit.
This is a prop. This is a prop for a
Officer B-Max.
for a commercial I made for the Virginia State VA SAP.
B-Max will sell out. He don't give a damn.
That's
don't
his
give a-
other job, dude. He's got like 5 jobs. He works down there at the Walmart, I think.
That's how he bought his new Fiat.
That's right.
See, I figured this was your Reno 911 look.
Well, he's got
Exactly.
the tight shorts on too. That's the
There you
amazing
go.
thing. People
Oh.
can't see him.
Yeah. My shorts
Shake the
cam is
beard
broken.
off,
So, what's next, Ron? What's next for you, brother? What are you doing?
Auditioning and auditioning. I mean, the nice thing, I don't want to say nice thing because COVID and everything with the entertainment industry is terrible, but I lived in Atlanta for 3 years, and Atlanta, way before COVID, was big on self-taped auditions. You know, so especially for the smaller roles, you know, like when I booked Bloodline, I booked that off of tape. Never went into the casting director's office. They saw my tape, they liked me, they're like, all right, come down to Miami, we're gonna shoot. And that's pretty much how it is now. You know, like 99.99% of the auditions are self-tapes, and the other 0.01% are live Zoom calls. You know, like I said, especially for the smaller roles, because you don't need to be in the room for those smaller roles. But it's like I can't imagine how difficult it must be for chemistry reads. You know, like if you're shooting a pilot and you got 2 main characters, and usually you get them in the same room and they do the scene to see if they hate each other or if they're okay with each other. And even now, like they can't do that. You know, they have to do it all over Zoom and figure out if they have chemistry via Zoom. So for now, it's just audition.
Makes the
keep
sex
it
scenes a
across.
little difficult.
You know, it's interesting. I forget which one because there's only 2 the soap operas still going, but one of them said that they were going to use sex dolls in place of people when they were doing.
I
like,
saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I
Oh,
saw a
wow.
whole thing about that. Yeah.
Do you- Speaking of soap operas, do you know Doug Spearman?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I worked on the ABC tour promotional thing for the soap operas, and Doug was a producer for ABC. He's doing films now, actually, but they're gay films.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with that, I guess, but
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of them.
people who work on soap operas, I honestly don't know how they can do it. I mean, first off, I don't understand soap operas. I'm not a fan, but I mean, they have a huge following. God bless them. But
They work forever. Once you get a job in there, you got a job for life. It's like the government.
Oh,
Damn.
we had the Fan Fest every summer, so these people were like, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "All right, well, this
Yeah,
guy's kind of
even-
an asshole to tell you the truth, but whatever."
Even the smaller characters. I know someone who did like 5 or 6 episodes of Young and the Restless, and like she's been asked to go to these soap opera events and do soap opera interviews with Soap Opera Digest and this other thing. And it's like she was a minor character on just a couple of episodes, but she has a following because their fans are so rabid, they latch on to characters and they kind of just fall in love with them. It's interesting.
How about what's her name, Susan Lucci or whatever? That lady's been on there since my granny used to watch it with me when I was a kid. I'm like, golly.
Yeah, and General Hospital's been around
90
since like the
now?
60s.
So if there's a Netflix show that you like and you really follow and you'd like to be on, which one would it be? I mean, I'm a huge Ozark fan. I thought that show was killer. I thought that'd be a cool show to be on.
You know, I couldn't
I
really
mean-
get into Ozark. I watched
Oh,
the
yeah?
first season, and I mean, I love Jason Bateman, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it.
Oh, man,
So,
that's
yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I liked it a lot, but that's not, not everybody's cup of tea,
I
But
just
I-
got to say, it's super fun. So I watched Stranger Things, and I was watching with my girlfriend, and we watched the season 1 again, and it was super fun to just be like, oh, hey, there's Ron. He's one of the bad guys. He's chasing those kids. Get him, Ron. Get those kids.
Well, interestingly enough, I was actually supposed to be in the pilot as one of the scientists / stunt actors. The very opening scene where the scientist is running down the hallway and then he gets sucked up into the elevator shaft. That was supposed to be me. I went to set. I tested out the rigging. They did some test shoots, and at the end of the day, the director saw the footage and was like, "Yeah, he doesn't look 80s enough. He's too GQ. We need somebody typically 80s to be the scientist." and they actually flew somebody in from LA 27 hours before they were supposed to shoot
Wow.
because they were just like, because it was the day before when we were testing everything out, and it's eventually that guy wound up being in like 2 episodes, but still like
Wow, that's a bummer, huh?
I still got paid and I still get residuals, so it wasn't too bad of a bummer.
But you got to be a bad guy too, right? Like, I mean, that's like notorious. The scene where it reminds me of the scene in E.T. when all the kids are running from the FBI guys. It was the same deal. You're like one of the guys in the vans. You're right there
Yeah.
with Matthew Modine, right?
I played FBI in a couple of different episodes, and I don't, but yeah.
Good money.
Which one?
Good money in being the bad guy in Hollywood.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
on,
cool,
Ron.
man.
Well, yeah, it's great having you on the show, man. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us, and appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me on, guys.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
and-
on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we can. Let's see how we can get in touch with Ron. We give him some juice here.
Is that everything is actor Ron Bush, so it's Instagram.com/actor Ron Bush, Twitter @actor Ron Bush, so it's pretty much all the same.
Did you
It's easy to-
realize there's a gay comedian named Ron Bush?
Really, I knew there was a real estate agent named Ron Bush, but I didn't know there was a comedian named Ron
Gay-
Bush.
Gay black comedian, yeah. I was looking you up and I'm like, oh, is this him? And I clicked
Oh,
on,
is
no,
he-
that's not him.
Is he the one listed on IMDb as Ron Bush 1?
Maybe.
Because I'm
I
Ron
know
Bush
that.
2.
I think I was just on like
Because he's the first Ron Bush that pops up on IMDb.
Bing or something, I'm not sure. And it popped up and I was like, said the angriest gay black comedian or something, and Ron Bush. And I was like, I wonder. And I was thinking, he's not black though. So
So I think I got an idea for a great new podcast, the Ron Bush Hour, with all 3 of you guys.
yeah. The
No.
angry gay black comedian. The
A
act-
real estate
Real
agent.
estate agent.
yeah. And he's trying
I mean-
to book you guys an apartment together.
This stuff writes itself.
So do you want West Hollywood or would you like to be somewhere else?
I don't know. West Hollywood's kind of expensive.
Tim and I got a good West Hollywood story. I took my brother and mom to LA. I lived in San Diego for a while, but I never went to LA. But anyway, we go up there, we get kind of lost and we're starving, and we go in this place called Kookaroo's. It's like a chicken joint. And Tim and I walk in and these guys are like staring at us like we're a snack, they're like, eh. And me and Tim are like, dude, all these
What's-
dudes are staring at us. What's going on?
It's a compliment, right?
And then
Well-
mom comes walking in behind us. We're like, "Hey, it's our mom, dude." Yeah, I
Chris,
forgot
we were
about
always
that.
like,
one.
You want to go to Kookaroo's?
Haven't heard of that place.
It wasn't nothing to brag about, I don't think, but we were starving and it was, right there on the side of the road.
I'll tell you something. The one surprising thing about LA was people are crazy for hot chicken. Like, there's this place called Dave's Hot Chicken. It's a small, like, window in this little strip mall area, and I run past it when I do my run every other day, and I've never not seen a line outside
Like
this.
Wow.
spicy hot chicken? You
Yeah.
mean? Oh, okay.
Like, it's nothing special. It's not like
Well,
I guess the
Didn't the chicken and waffle thing like start out there also?
Roscoe's, yeah.
Roscoe's, that's right. Yeah, I've been
Right.
there a long time ago.
Chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
It started out in L.A.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they love their hot chicken out here. There's a couple of different places just in North Hollywood, and they're always busy.
So how's,
Well-
how's Holly weird?
I'm gonna be. God, I've moved around so much because I lived in New Jersey, New York, Baltimore, Atlanta, here. I mean, it's just
I liked Venice Beach when we did an event there. LA just never did it for me. It was just too crowded.
the thing that I hate the most, I think, is that everything is so spread out. Because I love going to the beach, but it's
Yeah, I
like
think that was probably
hour
part of it.
drive.
Just on that 5, it's like, oh my God.
yeah, and everything is
405, what is it up there?
the 405 to the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an
405
hour
to
there,
the 10.
and it's 2 hours back from the beach, and you have to drive just to get groceries. I mean, luckily my liquor store is half a block away, so I can just walk there.
Oh, there you go.
Put the brown bag on the way home. Have half the bottle gone.
No, I don't even bother with the bag.
We don't need those sticky bags.
It's LA. You got to be environmentally conscious out here. No
Yeah,
bag.
just tell
Right.
them you're practicing for a roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, I think that about wraps it up. Ron, thanks so much for being on the show. I can't.
Thank you for having me.
I hope we
thanks
don't
for
wait
coming
10
on,
years before we talk again. Hope you get a really cool role soon.
Yeah, good luck. bro.
Man. Yeah, good luck on your acting career, brother.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, kids, it's about that time. The stop is ended, and I'm going to let you go.
Lights down low.
Yay!
Yeah.